Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you are not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is week 10. We are already in week 10 of 2023, people. Yes, I know, that's insane. And this week includes the dates from March 5th through March 11th and all my reading shenanigans in between. I also have some book mail to unbox at the end of the video. I will timestamp when I'm going to be doing it right here, so if you just want to skip to it, you're more than welcome to. But if not, it is time to grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so this past week, I took part in the Romance Takeover Readathon hosted by Jen over at the Book Refuge, and I will link her channel down below, where we were supposed to read as many romance books as we can. I created a bingo board that looks like this. This was my original bingo board, and this is what it looks like now, completed. So I didn't do too bad. I didn't get as much as I wanted to complete. And as you can see, there was a book on here that I didn't mention in my TBR, but we will be talking about it today because I did read it during the week. It was an arc that I was given from Reads a Discovery, and I wasn't originally going to include it in there, but because I didn't get to the other books I wanted to include it, so my bingo board looks somewhat kind of full. So let's get talking the books. The first book I completed this week was Jacob by Jacquelyn Frank, and it looks like this, and I gave this bad boy 3 stars. I am also reading this for the Nightwalker Readalong, which is hosted by Becky over at XOXOXO and Kalani Simply Me, and myself here over at FirstLadyReads. We are reading this entire series over the month of March and April, and this month we were supposed to read the first 3 installments. So I got the first one underneath my belt. This is a paranormal romance with dystopian elements. We have graphic violence, graphic sexual situations, and genocide. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, it's great. So we follow Jacob and Isabella in this installment, and Jacob is a demon who's considered in his world as like the enforcer. So what his main job is to ensure that the demons do not harm the human population. He's to enforce them during specific times of the year where their lust is just so overpowering that they cannot control themselves. And basically he's like a demon cop, essentially is what he is. Isabella is a kind of mousy librarian who is saved in a damsel in distress style situation where she falls out a fucking window, falls out of a window, and Jacob happens to be there to catch her. And after this chance encounter, a series of events starts that leads to discovery about Jacob's people and Isabella's lineage and herself as a person. And it begins to snowball, and this is where our story really starts to take off. What worked? World building. Really, really interesting concepts. I enjoyed the idea that the demons were not bad. They were there to protect humans, and they were kind of nice. And all the other paranormal baddies like vampires and werewolves, they were the psycho assholes. So I thought it was really cool, like, switcheroo. I thought that was neat. And we had a really unique magic system that was based off the elements of the earth. Jacob is what we call an earth demon, so he can kind of control the earth and the platonic plates. We have some characters that can control wind. We have some characters that control mental abilities, some that can control fire. So we didn't get to meet all of Captain Planet Earth, whatever that cartoon's name is, Little Avengers, but we did meet a few of them, and that was pretty cool. I'm hoping to meet some more in later installments. I really, for the most part, liked Isabella's character. I didn't like her initial get together with Jacob. I didn't like the damsel in distress. She fell out of a fucking window. Who falls out of a fucking window? What window is so big that you fall out of it without a balcony attached to it in New York? Like, there's usually fire escapes and things like that. So I'm like, what? Okay, cool. But it's something she's done 1,000 times, and she falls out of a window, and he just happens to be there to save her. That was slightly cheese moment for me, but it was okay. But other than that, I really liked her character. I liked the way that she didn't tolerate being talked down to because she was the human. And then when we start to learn about her character, then it becomes something other than the human. And I really enjoyed that. I kind of liked her Spitfire, especially for the time period this book came out in. I really enjoyed that fact about her. Another element of this book I really enjoyed was the eventual fate component, because this is a fated mates style book as well. But it's the dependence that they relied on each other. It was implied that they were going to get together, but they both mutually wanted each other to want the other person to want them over and above this prophecy that is discovered that makes them fated. So they each wanted each other to want them of their own free volition, their own free will, which I thought was really kind of a cool concept, knowing that there's a fated mate component, that they still had this back and forth of saying, like, I understand that there's a prophecy here, but I still want you to want me for who I am and what I can contribute to you. I don't want you to want me because you kind of have to. So I really enjoyed that, because with fated mates, sometimes authors, not all authors, but a lot of times authors will rely on the fated mate trope. It's like, oh, they're fated, so I don't really have to build this relationship. We still got some building in this relationship, and I enjoyed it. I did. I did enjoy the playful banter that our hero and heroine had together. I thought it was very cordial. For most part, there were some parts where it just got kind of grating, but we'll get to those. But for the most part, they back and forth, one-upped each other, and it was really, really fun, especially when it started becoming more of a physical banter. Isabella kicked his ass a few times. Really liked that part. So that was pretty cool. What didn't work? I'm not for sure if this is actually Twilight references or not, because this book came out in December of 2006. Twilight came out in September of 2006. So I don't know if they are references or not, but the lead character's name is Jacob. The lead heroine's name is Isabella, and we call her Bella throughout the entirety of the story. Jacob's description is really, really close to Jacob from Twilight. Tan, dark hair with a ponytail, you know, the original Jacob with the really shitty wig from the movie. Yeah, that guy. But like the cut up version, so more like, you know, is it New Moon? Is that the second one? Yeah, so Jacob in New Moon, where he like gets kind of beefed up, he hasn't got the fucking haircut yet. That guy. That's who we're looking at. And then we have this concept of imprinting with fated mates style thing, where it just, you see each other and the world revolves around that person. Clearly defined the same way it does in Twilight. So I don't know if this was written in a response to Twilight, or if it just happened to be a happy coincidence that they came out in the same year, literally 3 months away from each other. And they have very similar elements. So that was kind of irritating once I picked up on all that. I actually did not see the Jacob and Isabella references until the imprinting got talked about. And they started talking about how this used to be a thing, and to have an imprinted couple is something so rare. I'm like, oh, fuck, no. No. All right. And it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, although I was Team Jacob. Still, it was just like, damn it. Okay. Now this is very typical for paranormal romances written during this time frame. From a lot of the paranormal romances that I read around this time frame, this is very typical. You have the broody male who is trying to avoid the virginal girl, and so that's a very classic trope, and it's very, very poignant in this. There's a scene in a library, which I thought was kind of cool because it's in a library, but he goes to start to consummate, and he finds out there's a hymen, and he's like, oh, no, I have to stop you. I have to stop you because demons can't harm humans. And apparently breaking a hymen is harming her, even though she's willingly doing it. So this whole brooding, I can't hurt you, but I want you type thing, it was laced throughout the book, but eventually we get over it. But it was just like, oh, we're doing this thing again. God damn it. Boo. Yeah. That's a thing. It's one of the things you got to deal with when you read the books from this time period. So, but it's definitely there. So if you're not a fan of that, just be warned. I mentioned that the playful banter I really enjoyed. There were parts of the banter that I didn't enjoy. And the ones I didn't enjoy were where it was often Jacob patronizing Isabella, like she wasn't strong enough, she couldn't handle herself. Isabella kicked the wind demon's ass the first time she met him. Like, knocked him out cold, broke his nose and shit, and he's like the wind, okay? So, you know, I think she can handle it. I think she can handle you, all right? Because he kicked your ass. So, it just, the patronizing of her, and then she would get flustered, and he'd often say, oh, you're so cute when you're angry, little flower. And I'm like, the fuck? What? Ugh. Everyone, like, a few times, okay, but this same formula of pissing her, saying something intentionally to piss her off so she gets cute when she's angry and little flower, it was used a lot more than I was comfortable for. So it started to get annoying. Like once or twice, okay, but the rest of them, give me something else. Give me something else. Spice rating, I gave this a 3 chili peppers. There's graphical sexual content and lots of it. There's a lot of hooking up. There's a lot of foreplay. There's a lot of teasing. There's a lot of sexualized banter, which was really fun. And apparently the sex is so good, it literally causes fucking earthquakes, people. That's a thing. That's a thing. Once they revealed that element, I was like, all right. I've heard, you know, there's moments in sex where the earth moves. For this bitch, the earth really fucking moves. Congratulations. There you go. So that was a fun element of the story. All in all, I had a good time with this, and I do plan on continuing with the rest of the series because I am participating in the read along. But even if I wasn't, I think I would continue with this because it was a unique concept, and I'd like to see the other characters. The next installment, I believe, is Gideon, who is an ancient that we meet in this story, and he has a thing for another demon. So it's not a human demon, human druid type thing. It is another demon and demon, but there's a massive fucking age gap and a massive maturity complex. So I'm looking forward to that one. The next book I completed was Savage in the Touch by Milana Jackson. This was actually my one sitting read. I read this in a day, and this was a good time. I gave this 3 stars. It's the first installment to the Savage Horde's Mates. As of right now, it's just a duology. I don't know if there's been any more released. Another paranormal romance, novella length. I mean, I think this is like, what, 100 and... let's see. It's 147 pages. So, super, super fucking short. Reads really fast. Graphic sexual content with kidnapping. We have a fated mate element. And we have severe alpha hero, alpha hole concepts. So, just be warned, if you don't like alpha holes, you're probably not going to like this guy in the beginning. So we follow Andy and her sister Mad, who run a tavern on the edge of the forest in this town, and the horde ravages this town, but they decide to go into the tavern and basically drink it dry. These 2 girls, instead of fleeing, have just been hiding in the tavern, and they know they're there, so they call them out because they want more booze, and they're like, okay, maybe if we just give them what they want, they'll leave. Well, Tolly, I think is how you say his name, or maybe it's Tolei. It's T-O-L-E-I. So you pronounce it how you need to. He wants a woman for the night. So he starts to go for Mad. And Andy's like, fuck you, that's my sister. So she throws something at him, and he's intrigued because she has this aura about him. And when he comes up to her and says, I want to fuck you, she pushes his chest away and apparently activates some mating mark, and it throws him across the fucking room. I was like, what? What the fuck just happened? So that was really unique. And then this literally starts their romance. And then the rest of the book is them traveling to get to the gates of Leon, which is a city where the king lives, the Lord King lives, and they want to overthrow him and take back the land that the Horde originally had, because the Lord King has learned to enslave the Horde and reap their magic for himself. So, and also him trying to seduce Andy so she will actually care about him and not just, you know, be there. What worked? Smut right out the gate. This is straight smut. This is straight smut. That's what it is. There is a plot, but most of it is smut. And it's not bad. It's really good. I mean, Talei's kind of an alpha hole in the beginning, and you kind of, you want to laugh at him because the way he says shit, because it's just so blunt. I mean, he has zero filter. When Andy pushes him and he regains like consciousness, he walks up, he's like, yeah, I'm fucking you now, bitch. And that's exactly what he says. And I was like, whoa, all right, well, that's cool. That's a thing. And he has zero qualms about what he wants. He knows that she's it, and he goes for it. There is, you could call some of their scenes dubious consent, but the actual sex scene was not dubious consent. It was consensual. It's all kind of the foreplay-ish scenes, kind of getting to know you scenes, because he does it in a very forceful kind of way where I think she wouldn't do it if she didn't have to. Although some of those scenes are kind of funny because they do have a really good banter back and forth. I enjoyed their conversation back and forth because she kind of one-ups him every once in a while, and he's just kind of like, well, shit, I don't really know how to say that, so I'm just going to do this. And then it proceeds to, you know, super sexy fun times. For as short as this story is, it has a really good pace. It does keep you, entertained. It keeps your page turning. So really good for a quick read. Like I said, I read it in a day. I did take a break in the middle of it. So all in all, I think it probably took me maybe 4 hours to read in total. So super, super short, super fast, very quick page turner. Yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect about it. What didn't work, because it is so short, and I find this with novellas, the novellas oftentimes lack world building. There's a lot of magical concepts in the story that are really unique, especially because the Horde has, and I can't, yeah, you can see a little bit of the kind of ruins that are carved into his skin. Well, these are magical symbols that do shit, and you only learn about a few of them. And it would be kind of nice to see how that magic system was kind of built and a little bit more information about it. This is a full-length novel I think would be quite good. A paranormal fantasy romance novel I think would be excellent. And most novellas I find I always want them to be longer. I'm okay with the length of this. I just wanted more world building, and if they gave me more world building, it would no longer be a novella length, because there's that much that needs to be built to really understand this magical component and this mating component that they have, and how the Lord King siphons the power, because there are some mythical creatures in here that he is utilizing. So it lacked its world building, but that's because of its length. And I think if they had gotten more length, they would have been able to flush that out, and it would have been fantastic. Spice rating, I gave this 4 chili peppers. It is graphic. There is anal sex in this, and it is usually anal sex comes after vaginal sex. No, not this one. No. He's like, nope, I'm gonna use this because vaginal is for the mating scene. This is because I want to have some fucking fun. Cool. And that was a really, really unique scene. Also, we have a standing female oral sex scene. And when I say that, I mean he's literally standing and he has her sitting on his shoulders, and that is how she's doing it. So she's literally trying to hold herself up without falling over while she's climaxing. And that is a very unique scene because as he's doing it, she's trying not to fall backwards, and he's laughing at her, which just teases her even more because it stops what he's doing. And I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious. I thought that was great. Kudos to you that you can do that you are strong enough to do that. That's awesome. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, this is straight smut. I mean, 148 pages, I said. I would probably say this is 85% smut. So you're looking for some paranormal smut? Here you go. Very nice. The next book I completed was Love You Always by Lauren Lacey, and I gave this 5 stars, and it looks like this. This was one of my Reads Discovery books, and I usually don't talk about this in my weekly wrap-ups, but this thing was 5 stars. So I definitely want to talk about it, and I did use it for the Romance Takeover Readathon to help kind of beef up my bingo board. This is the one book that did not appear in my TBR, I do have a full book review, and it'll be linked up here in the corner if you guys want to go check it out. This is the first installment in the Love in Beverly Mills series, which I think is adorable. It's a second chance romance with childhood sweethearts, which I just find scrumptious. I love it. I love it. Graphic depictions of alcoholism in this. We have drug abuse, death of a parent, miscarriage, suicide, depression, and toxic relationships featuring gaslighting and hero complexes. So a lot of heavy hitting triggers in this book. A lot of them. Quick summary, we have Parker Whalen and Jackson Sand, who have been childhood sweethearts since they were seriously freshmen in high school, but they met when they were much younger, and they have grown together. They have matured together. They have suffered together. The trauma laced within the story is insane. But we meet them in the beginning of the book trying to possibly rekindle a second chance romance. And as the story is being told, we are seeing the second chance building while we see the original relationship kind of dissolve. It's build and it's resolved, and then we see the second chance. It's a really unique concept the way it's told. I had a great fucking time with this. This thing was 5 stars for reasons. What worked? I go in much more depth in my review, but a few things that worked, the world building in this. This was like Ozzie and Harriet soap opera. There were so many layers to the characters and to this world. All of our characters have these prim, perfect style lives. Jackson's a starting freshman quarterback. He's got his childhood sweetheart. They're perfect on the outside. Their parents all get along. All their friends are amazing, and they're all perfectly suited to each other. But underneath this world that Lacey has created, there's a lot of fractures. So when you look at it, it's almost very reminiscent of a mosaic. From far away, it looks beautiful. But when you start to get up close, you can see all the cracks among the glass fragments and stone fragments that it used to make it up. It was fantastic. This world building was dope. I had such a good time with it. The way the story is told really benefits to it. As I said, you get to see the second chance succeeding while you see the original relationship built and then falling apart. But it's not just told like this, it is told in juxtaposition with timelines and points of view. So you're constantly being thrown back and forth, but you have a clear idea of where you are, who is speaking, and what the fuck is going on, and why it's correlating to what the new second chance romance is. So I had a really good job. Really fun time with that, and it was done really well. The circle of friends in this is dope. I love them. I cannot speak highly about these circle of friends because these are the friends that tell you like it is, whether it hurts your feelings or not. And also the same friends that will rib you for banging your ex-boyfriend the night before a wedding that you're supposed to go on a date with somebody else. That's these group of friends. They say, you know, you're an idiot, but we love you anyway. Let's go party. I love these guys. I love this circle of friends. They were fantastic. Something that really worked in this book was the realness of these moments, the grit behind the facade. We have real conversations that people in these situations could experience. We have real graphic descriptions of alcoholism, of drug abuse, and bouts of depression that people that suffer from these or people that know people that suffer from these can relate to. Very heavy, very dark elements, but they are so real and they make this story just excel. They were handled in such a way that you can handle them and you can work your way through them, because she handles them with a very delicate nature, but she handles them with a very real truth. And sometimes as readers, we don't always read to escape. Some readers read to find relatability. And in these real grit moments, these are where the relatability of the story happens. And I just absolutely fucking adored it. A lot of the internal monologues we have from our characters, real internal conversations that women and men in these similar situations have had. And I just thought that was fucking phenomenal. She did such a good job with it. I had to sit down and think really hard about what didn't work in this book. And there was one element that I found, and we meet a character named Allie who gets pregnant. And it's the way she gets pregnant. There is a sexual assault in this book. It is not on page, it is implied. But Allie gets pregnant because she sexually assaults somebody. And there's no real justice for her. So I kind of had an issue with that, because I feel like even though karmically she got some fucking justice. Karmically, yes. But I would like to see some legal justice for it, because just because it's the female doing it to the men doesn't mean it should be overlooked. And I didn't really agree with that. Karmically, yes, she got her just desserts. But I would have liked some kind of legal ramifications for it. But who knows? We might get that in future installments. She might fuck up again and we get to see her go to jail. That'd be great. Spice rating on this, I gave it 3 chili peppers. This thing got the first FTD bank scene of the fucking year. First FTD bank scene of the year. And if you're not familiar with the FTD bank, that is fingers, tongue, and dick. Great scenes that use them in different ways. And I'm keeping a bank, and eventually I'll do a video of what's in it for the 2023. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. But this is the first one going in here. We have a very unique food sex scene that I was not expecting. I was not. We have some brunch happening, and some syrup gets dropped in specific places, and we get to clean it up, and then a strawberry is brought into play, and it gives a whole new meaning to the idea of tasting like strawberries and cream. Check out the review. I go into great detail of this scene, but that's all I'm saying on that one. But it was great. It's fucking great. We also had an instructional sex conversation, which I really enjoyed, because you don't really see this in romance books all that often, because the sex scene is automatically like perfect. The first time's great. Like, you almost have to go and seek out books where the sex the first time is not great. And that's a real thing that happens with real people. Like, the first time you have sex with somebody, yeah, you might enjoy it. It might be exciting, but they don't know you as a person. They don't really know how to take you. They don't really know what works. They're just going based off what they have done to other people at one point in time. And think about that. Anytime you have sex with somebody for the first time, that's because everything they're doing, they've done with somebody else and it worked. You got to think about that. So this conversation of like, hey, I haven't ever told you what really makes me happy. I need you to do this. This is what works for me. And I like the way that the character that received this conversation handled it. He handled it in a very mature way. It didn't hurt his pride. He was like, oh shit, okay, you tell me what you need because I want to make you happy. And I was like, yay. More people should have these fucking conversations. Just saying. Speak up. It's fine. We're all adults here. At least I hope so. But I gave this thing 5 stars. Again, go check that review. It was linked in the card, and it'll be linked in the down box below. I had a great time with this story. Great fucking time. It reminded me of memories that I thought I never wanted to be reminded again of, but I was very glad I was, because I've seen where I've come from, and I know I made the right choice. So it was great. I had a good time with it. The last book I started and I have not completed yet, and I will be completing tonight on audiobook, is Flawless by Elsie Silvers, and it looks like this. This is the first installment to the Chestnut Spring series. I was picked to do Heartless as my review book, my viewer choice book, viewer recommendation book of the month. So for the Romance Takeover Readathon, I thought I would just put the whole series on there. I did not get to Heartless for it, but I did get to this one, and I was told that you do have to read the first one to actually understand the second one. So now I'll be good. So I will be able to completely understand it and review it appropriately. Now, this is an audiobook done by Sebastian York and Emma Wilder, which Sebastian York, all I gotta say, Sebastian York, he's one of my faves. He's one of my favorite male narrators because his voice is fucking dope. This is a workplace romance with like a hate to love element at the beginning, and we have very graphic sexual content. We follow Rhett, who's a bad boy bull rider, and he does what he wants. And when he does what he wants, it's mostly because he wants attention, because he hasn't really gotten a lot of attention. He just wants attention, whether it's positive or negative. He doesn't give a shit. And he gets saddled with Summer, who is his agent's daughter, and she's trying to come through the ranks. So she is to babysit him until the next World Championship bull riding competition is over, which is about 2 to 2.5 months. Rhett immediately is smitten with her, but to hide that, he kind of acts like he hates her. So we have this, that's where we get this hate to love component. And Summer is just trying to get through this as unscathed as possible, because she had a huge childhood crush on this guy. And she had his Levi poster on her wall, and she just swooned over him. And so she's trying to get through this unscathed enough where he doesn't hate her more than he already does because of the uncomfortable situation. But after multiple nights together and multiple very flirtatious conversations, we do eventually get this romance to start to bud and to build. Now, for what works and what doesn't work, I have not completed the book, so I have not written those down yet, but I'm very, very excited. So far, there's a lot of stuff that's working in this, and the sex, that's all I gotta say. Chaps, man, chaps. Chaps. Yes. But that is all I read this week. This guys. So now let's get to my little unboxing. All right. Oh, it's one of these. I should probably have gotten a knife. I was not prepared, people. Oh, I can open it this way. I know what this is. I was expecting it, but I just wanted to open it on camera because I like doing this. Yes, here it is. It's finally here. I finally have my copy of Second Chances by Caitlin Erin Gresham. This is the book that I was an alpha reader for, and I was a contributing editor. So it's finally in my hands. I'm so excited. It looks stunning. I love it. She picked such a good photo for the cover. And, oh, there's stuff in it. I have stuff. Let's find out. Hold on. Okay, so I've got an indie romance book card with her details and everything. You can, right there. And her autograph. So, yay, I have a collection. And then I got another bookmark. So it looks like this. And then the back is kind of a cut off image of it, which I think is awesome. That's so cool. I will put all of Caitlin's links in the down box below so you can go check her out. And she wrote a message to me. Jackie, thank you for being a kick-ass alpha, bomb.com editor, and amazing friend. May you always believe in second chances. I will try, sweetheart. I will try. Never could make that shit work in my real life. So, but there is an author's note back here that I wanted to read because she did mention me in it, and I kind of wanted to read it because I'm very, very proud of it. The acknowledgement sections. Okay, so here it goes. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to write this book. Seriously, you are all rock stars, and I could not have done this without your support and love. To my contributing editor, Jackie Kennedy, you are the best alpha and boss bitch I know. Thank you for all the late nights and steamy contributions and for making Megan into the ultimate mean girl. Thank you for giving me the drive and the drive I needed to keep going, even when I wanted to end it all and give the axe to Kaylee at the end. Thank you to the Book Talk community for liking my teaser video when I was just in the first chapters of the book, thinking no one would want to read it. You all made this book what it is. Shout out to all the authors I name dropped in this book and for being masters of your craft and giving us all the love we deserve through your writing. Lastly, a note to all the women out there who this book resonates with on one level or another. Just remember that the more you speak up and speak out, the less power they have over you. So shout it from the rooftops, reclaim your power because you are worth it. Love you, Caitlin Erin. If you have not a chance to go pick this up, I highly recommend it. This is a second chance romance following Aiden and Kaylee with a 10-year time jump, but it is a dark trigger book. There are dark triggers in it, so please check the trigger warnings. But I'm very, very proud of this project. I'm very, very happy to be part of it. And Caitlin, I love you, and I will see you in June for your big wedding. That's all I got for you guys today. I will talk to you guys all later.